But look, we're also talking about tech CEOs coming out, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, all calling the policy inhumane, calling it for an end. Why is it important right now for companies to take a stand on these issues?
This is an environment where consumers more and more want companies to step up and be heard on the big social political issues of the day. Research has shown that 2/3 of people say, we want to hear from brands, we want to hear from CEOs, what they stand for, what they believe in. More and more people want to buy from companies whose values that they resonate with. And now companies are facing pressure from employees, from customers, and from the public to weigh in and be heard.
What are some of the negatives here if companies weigh in? Could they risk alienating some employees or consumers that don't have the same viewpoint that they do?
That's absolutely the risk, and that's why traditionally CEOs have been fence sitters and preferred to sit on the sidelines and not engage. But we're at a point now where silence is considered complicity, and people will now call you out if you don't step up. And if you leave your set of values, your perceived brand purpose as a blank sheet of paper, other people will be happy to fill it in for you, and they won't give you the benefit of the doubt, and you likely won't like what they say about you. So it's really important for companies to, at the very least, be clear about what they believe in, what they stand for. Whether or not they go all the way to engaging in a political debate, you still need to be clear about where you stand so that you're not called out.
Do you think there is a point that companies can reach that makes them too involved?
Well, that's a choice that every company has to make, and there's sort of a spectrum of involvement. You can very quietly say, I'm not going to speak out, but I'm at least going to be clear about what I stand for, so if the spotlight suddenly shines on me, I know what to say and I'm not caught unawares. Some companies do decide to go all the way out on an extreme, and sometimes it's very big companies like IBM weighing in very heavily on the Dreamers issues because they employed some Dreamers and they need to hire tech talent from all around the world with diverse backgrounds. So this was an issue of vital importance to them. Some companies just stand up for moral reasons, but the best way to do it is when you're very authentically connected to the issue by virtue of your business model or your customers or your employees, and then it's a genuine issue, not something you're just jumping on a bandwagon for.
What about companies that have potentially subsidiaries that might have different viewpoints? An example, I used to work for a company that was owned by Walmart. Walmart services so many people around the globe, but some of their subsidiaries might have had different viewpoints than they did. How do executives of those large companies sort of deal with having different viewpoints within not just their employees, but the subsidiary companies under them?
Well, we're seeing this in real time right now, where the employees of GitHub, acquired by Microsoft, are being very vocal about, I don't want you selling software to ICE because I don't want our products somehow being involved or in the ecosystem of an organization separating parents from kids. So that is one of the complexities of this, is you have multiple stakeholders. You have owners, you have customers, subsidiaries, employees, partners perhaps, who may all have different points of view. So it really needs to start with the leadership saying, what do we fundamentally believe in? What are those most universal values that we can all rally around? And then there comes the question of some will agree, some will not. And to have a clear point of view in this world means some people won't agree with you, and you just need to be ready to deal with that.
Ultimately, do you think employees at these companies have any sway over what the actual employer does?
I absolutely do, and we've seen that. The number of CEOs that stepped off of Trump's CEO council because of pressure from their employees shows that. We've seen the pressure coming and boiling up within Microsoft. I think we'll see more of that, especially in the tech community where these companies spend so much time, money, and energy recruiting and keeping these people happy. They really cannot afford to have a values disconnect with those critical employees.
All right. Really quickly before we let you go, just about 20 seconds here, you wrote the book Marketing in the Fake News Era. Would love to hear really quickly biggest takeaway from that book.
Biggest takeaway is you can no longer sit on the fence. You can't think that just staying on the sidelines is safe. You'll need to know what you stand for and be ready to step out and be heard if that moment comes.
All right, Peter Horst, founder of CMO Inc., thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.